Rightio, we've had a few people ask through the comments on YouTube about doing a bit of a walkthrough of the van and the four-wheel drive. So we decided we've got a few days to kill. We're actually in lockdown in Katherine at the moment in the Northern Territory. We arrived into Katherine on Monday morning and it went into lockdown Monday afternoon. So 3 days worth of lockdown. Hopefully it's not going to last any longer than that. But anyway, so here we are. So this is our van. It's a pretty standard van. There's really not a lot different that we've done other than the storage that Lisa's managed to put together for the cupboards and spaces. So we'll just do a quick walkthrough of what Lisa's done storage wise, and as we sort of find stuff we'll point it out for you. So here's my lovely wife Lisa.
So the first thing, in these cupboards, these are just empty hanging cupboards which are useless. So we got these what are they?
Shoe racks?
No.
Clothes racks?
Clothes rack type things that you hang up from Bunnings, and they fitted perfectly. And then we got, for ease, instead of just putting things straight in there, which every time you open the door they'd fall out, like your knickers and things, we got some little package cubes. This one's great from Kathmandu, and we stack things like that in there, so that works perfectly. And then we have our t-shirts and things like that, so they go in there.
So the tricky bit was actually
just from Kmart.
Yeah, the tricky bit was actually finding containers that fitted into these cupboards, because the cupboards, you can't quite see it, but they actually slope from the bottom to the top. There's an angled shelf at the back, or an angled back to it, so it's really quite tricky to find something that fitted in there that would actually fit in. So if you have a look at what I've got here, you can see that the storage containers actually slope down at the front, and by doing that they fitted underneath where the rams were that hold the doors open. So just putting two square ones in there didn't fit, so Lisa was able to find these from Kmart that are perfect, and they slide all the way back there, and we can stack them up. So
they work a treat. That
works really well. I'll just show you in the cupboard here again. As you can see, I don't have nearly as much as Lisa does, but they're those hanging hanging things from Bunnings that just fitted in perfectly.
There is heaps of storage behind there, because these go all the way back to here, but the shelves only go back to here. So when we get home, we will get shelves made all the way back. Yeah,
so we're losing probably 25–30% of that capacity we're not using at the moment. So unless you want to stick things like jumpers and scarves and winter gear in there when you're not using it, it's a good place to hide it away. But yeah, shelves would certainly, if we could fit full width shelves or full length shelves in there, it'd certainly increase the storage capacity, that's for sure. The other thing, Lisa, is the elastic racks.
These are brilliant for your tablets and phones and things, and your US cable can just go straight through. These were from a boat supply store.
Yeah, we hunted high and low for these to try and find some that were the right size, and we ordered some that were a bit cheap and nasty, and in fact they just fell apart when we tried to install them. They're absolutely useless. And then these were about $30 each, I think.
$30–35 each, but worth every penny.
Yeah, they're great. So they were from a boating hardware store somewhere.
Okay, these silly little shelves, just useless, absolutely useless. So we've got the sunglasses in.
Yeah, still to find a really good use for them. It's crazy.
These cupboards, pretty much Andrew's technology, half the time, well, most of the time.
Little fabric packing kits are just fantastic. You can just stick stuff in them and pack them away. Lee's got these online from somewhere, and this is all the chargers and cables and batteries and all that sort of stuff just go into these. So
there's
it's really
three
good.
of them.
Yeah, it keeps them really handy. Everything nice and tidy and easy to find again.
Okay, and through to the food.
We'll just show the technology charging centre. So we just screw a little plastic shelf to the wall there, and this is our charging centre when we're hooked up to 240 volts. And once again, all the cables live in there, the phones can just sit in there and get charged up, and it's just handy to have that little container just hanging there.
And this?
Most important cupboard in the caravan, the snacks cupboard.
And before we
I
go
believe
down
there's
that
nowhere near enough space dedicated to the snacks, but still.
Before we go down that end, we do have this space under here, which is chock-a-block, but everything has a place. It was really, really cold when we first started out, so we had lots of winter gear, and that's all been sucked up into these guys.
Yeah, the vacuum packs, where'd you get those from?
Kmart.
And the hardware stores, I think,
Yeah.
as well sell those.
TV Caddy,
This is really good.
best thing ever.
From Navigator,
From Navigator, if you can find one, they're like hen's teeth.
they're really good. Good quality, keeps the TV protected. We've actually smashed the TV in the early days, so it's good to have that nice padded bag to put them in.
I just use these fabric stack of containers for the sheets and things like that. This one is just full of clothes, but
Lisa's clothes.
we'll just go past that one. I'll wear them one day. We've got a shoe rack in the front, which Andrew just made up. So that works great. If you've got the storage, why not use it? And our food. Our food is kept along here. Our dry groceries.
So once again, Lisa did a really good job at finding containers that just were able to fit together and almost like a Tetris puzzle.
It is a bit like that.
So when you pull these things out, so behind the little ones are bigger ones that fit in perfectly, and then up above that the ones with the handles on as well. So everything fit, and they just sit on a rack. Once again, I think Kmart was the major supplier of all of this. So there's a rack there, just a wire rack that turns it into 2 shelves, and containers that all fit into the cupboard.
So they work a treat. Up here is all that technology bits and pieces.
Bits and pieces. Once
Not
again,
much fun.
bit of a useless cupboard. They put switches and all sorts of stuff in there, and I ended up putting in these 12-volt plugs here. So we've got USB chargers here, and also the cigarette charger for the RV Wi-Fi unit. But they originally only just had the cigarette lighter plug, so I turned it into a double, so we had USB up there, so we can put the phones up there and charge them while we're running along.
And all these things like our little orange lights and things like that Andrew's put on before, they all live in there. This one, little containers again for our tea bags and things like that, and this side is just some cleaning stuff. And if you ever need a tea towel, we've got heaps.
For some reason, we have 14 tea towels. I've queried this before, since we seem to go through 2 and they just go through rotation. So, but anyway, we've got a few spares. If we run out of tea towels, we've got a few spares.
And just like every house has a drawer of junk stuff, there's a container of junk stuff.
Staples and elastic bands.
And our hot plate.
Here's a hotly contended discussion item, a stove.
We have our stove, so we've got our hot plate. We do use it. Oven, I use it all the time.
Yep.
All the time. So, but that's our choice. We don't have a Weber. We do have an outside kitchen, but I do use that. I love it.
She makes Lisa makes scones and cookies, and we roast chickens and all sorts of things. So we found that we do use the oven a lot. So especially when it was cold, it served 2 great purposes. It warmed up the van and it cooked the dinner. So
until we realised that if we're on power, we can actually have heating
that was quite
through
funny.
the air conditioner.
You can probably hear the air conditioner running, but we were sitting down one night, I think we were at Uluru, freezing our butts off, and sitting inside the van, and then Lisa said, "Doesn't that air conditioner heat as well?" And it was the aha moment. The light bulb came on. After a week of sitting around freezing to death, we realised that when we're hooked up to 240 volt, we could actually run the aircon as a heater unit.
And we do have another quite a big storage area down here with just all the extra food bits and pieces and water bottles and what have you.
That's basically our pantry underneath the lounge seats there. So just one thing about the table, is one thing I'm not really happy with is the table's a fixed table. It's not adjustable. You can rotate it if you want to, but it's one thing when we get a bit of time next time, I'll definitely upgrade the table into one of those that you can slide backwards and forwards, side to side, so you can actually just slide the thing back into the corner and give yourselves a little bit more working room while we're preparing dinner and that sort of stuff. So the tables, it's just a cheap and nasty mount, and I'm pretty sure that we'd find one that's a bit more flexible, a lot more useful.
And this away.
Microwave oven,
Oh,
would
yeah.
you do it again?
No, probably not.
It's used to store the bread, but
it's there in case you need it.
yeah. But you can store the bread in the oven when you're not when you're travelling. So
But might as well. We do have a full ensuite, separate toilet and shower. So the shower's a good size. I shower in here all the time, and use the toilet all the time.
we haven't got a washing machine. We've probably
I would do it.
Yeah, it's one of those things. You've got the room there.
Mounted here.
It's a big blank space there that's not being used, so there's room there to put one in. We'll probably do it on the next van. I don't think I'd fit one retrospectively, but if
On
we're
my
building if we're building a new van, we would definitely put a little washing machine in. It would be quite handy.
Another thing that would be better if these were enclosed. So if you just had a little cupboard rather than have all this stuff.
Yeah,
Just hang
cupboards instead of just open shelves would make the world of difference.
Just a
Actually,
little,
this is worth showing people. So
Oh.
the shelf there that the shampoos and stuff sit on, that's from Bunnings. It's one of the ones that uses a little sort of sucker pump to mount the suction pads to the wall. And as long as the wall isn't textured, just a smooth wall, there it is. That's a little pump there that you use to suck them on with, and then the shelf mounts to the bits that you attach to the wall. And it's been there since day one.
Yep.
And we've done the Gib, we've done the Udendata track. We did about 900 kilometres up through the centre of WA, all on really rough dirt roads. And it's been loaded up with the shampoo and conditioner, and it's still on the wall 2 years down the track. So sensational. That little shelf has been really, really good.
through here I just have extra towels, tablecloths, and this is just all the money for the laundry.
Just don't give away all the secrets.
A box down here with all the, you still need your detergents and bleach and all that crap. So you still are cleaning things.
Yeah.
It's like a normal life.
Little containers there that just suck to the walls, and you just put the stuff that you use every day, so you don't have to continually dive into the cupboards to get stuff. And that just sits there. Once again, they just suck to the laminate. Yep. And they haven't moved. One of the very important things sitting over in the corner, the soda stream. We use it all the time. I'll show you what we use. Instead of carrying around cans or bottles of soft drink, we use the soda stream, and then we just buy the flavouring. Now, it's not 100% as good as the canned and bottled stuff, but after a while you don't notice the difference.
Fridge and freezer are a great size, more than big enough.
190 litre, I think.
In the fridge, instead of just putting things willy-nilly, I have got little containers for everything. Being that type of person, you know, all the cheeses and condiments, just stops things rolling around.
That's about it in
It's
here.
only a little van.
Yeah, it's only a little van. There's not much to show you. Pretty stock standard. We really haven't done a huge amount inside here, so it's pretty well.
Curtains.
Yeah, it did have curtains. Absolute necessity, the Scirocco fans, but I think they're pretty standard with most fans nowadays. But yeah, never buy a van without them. They are sensational. That's about it. So that's about the inside of the van. We'll take you around and show you the outside of the van.
A few little couldn't live without, now that we've had them. These little induction cooktops. Absolute amazing. If you've got
240 volt.
This was like $50 from Kmart, I think. We've been through 3 Kmart kettles until we paid the money and just got this decent kettle. But the steam has actually melted the spout.
Yeah, so which is a bit disappointing for a $50 kettle, but the plastic doesn't stand up to the steam. But anyway, it's still going. It'll last another 6 or 8 months or so.
Our latest acquisition has been this fan, Ryobi fan, because we have all Ryobi products, battery products, and we've got the little vacuum cleaner. So this has been great.
So we got the fan, the vacuum cleaner, a drill, and the chainsaw. All Ryobi, all run off the same battery. So I've just got 2 batteries that we've cycled between the different units, and it works a treat. And we got the fan. We found when we were in Kakadu and up in around Darwin and some of the parks in Darwin, and it was no wind at all, just dead flat calm, and we just needed a little bit of breeze. And so that's what that does. It really just makes a little bit of breeze, just makes it a little bit more comfortable to sit outside.
And also, I think it keeps the mozzies away when you have it on a bit.
I think that might be the 52 mosquito coils that you light up, and the 200 grams of DEET that you spray on everything. That also helps.
Oh well, you've got to do what you've got to do. That's what I keep in this little cupboard.
That's the mosquito repellent cupboard in there. Pull-out kitchen.
Pull-out kitchen.
Once again, a lot of discussion. We've had a lot of people ask about the pull-out kitchen. So this is the Dometic pull-out kitchen. So it's fully plumbed, permanently plumbed with hot and cold water, and it has a bayonet gas fitting. So you just need to plug the gas in. So you'll see there's a gas point.
I have a full drawer
just down here somewhere. Gas point down there. Has a drawer that has the utensils and stuff in it.
This
Pull
is
the drawer
where
out,
we
hun.
normally keep the
Hang on.
just a drawer full of stuff.
Drawer full of stuff. Quite a good drawer. You can put all your utensils and all that sort of stuff in there. And there's also a shelf underneath as well that you can store some stuff in as well.
This is normally where we keep the induction cooktop when we travel under here. This little wind shield is what I got from Dometic, which is useless.
$79 I think that was.
I don't know.
That's the Dometic supplied wind deflector, which was absolutely useless. 79 bucks I'm pretty sure it was. So I actually made up a new one. Got some scraps of checker plate and a few hinges and made this one up. So it's a little bit more flexible. You can mount it left or right, backwards or forwards, open it up. It's proved to be really, really useful. It's been great. And it just sits on top of the stove and everything packs away when we slide it back in. So it's been great. Probably cost me 30 bucks worth of materials and an hour's worth of labour to make that. So it was good. Big question is, would we do it again?
Smaller.
Yeah, we would definitely have outdoor cooking again. We found when we were in the Kimberley that we cooked outside 8 nights out of 10. The only 2 things that drove us inside was windy conditions and lots of bugs. So that would drive us inside. Other than that, we were out here 8 nights out of 10 cooking dinner out here, which was fantastic. We would probably not go the full Dometic unit again. We'd probably just go a pull-out table and then have somewhere that we could mount a Weber because they're a little bit more wind resistant. But we definitely have a little bench and a drawer, probably a sink, but we wouldn't go for the Dometic cooktop. We'd just go for the Weber outside here because you can cook 9 things there, and 9 out of 10 things you can cook on the Weber.
Actually contradict you. Go for one of those smaller gas, you know,
Yeah, the Coleman Hyper Flames, I think they're called, which are meant to be good in winds up to about 40 kilometres an hour or something. The Hyper Flame portable cooktops.
Because when you aren't on power and you cook a cup of tea or whatever, it's nice to do it outside.
Yeah. But it's been great. The pull-out kitchen has been really useful and we have used it a lot, without a doubt. So, yeah, we would do it again for sure. The only drawback is it takes up a lot of room. So most of the storage space in the boot is taken up by the kitchen. So we've just had to live with that.
And we've managed.
Yeah, we've managed. So that's about it. There's nothing else really on the outside of the van that we've done that's not stock standard. It's pretty much as you see it. I'll do a quick walk around. So we've got 2 jerry cans, one at the front, one at the back. Only really used them a couple of times. When we're up in the Kimberley, we used them when we did the Gibb River Road. We didn't really even need them, but I just filled them up and took them with us just in case. And then same when we did Kakadu, because you cover a lot of miles when you're in Kakadu, and fuel's $1.90 a litre, so it was handy to have the fuel there. At the front, as with all of them, we've got 2 gas cans, gas 9 litre I think they are, or 9 kilogram gas cylinders in there, and one of those lasts us about 6 weeks.
Oh, more than that.
Yeah, 6 to 8 weeks,
Yeah.
easily. So that's pretty good. We do have a generator. It's locked up at the moment, unfortunately. So it's a 2.2 kilowatt generator. It's a Honda. We used it when we were in Lucky Bay because we had a few days that was quite cloudy and we just didn't get enough solar to keep the batteries charged up. So it was really handy to have the generator. We used it also up in the Kimberley. I would probably, if you're doing a lot of remote camping, I would probably carry a generator again. If you get 3 or 4 days with no sun, that's overcast, you're not going to have enough power to charge your batteries up. So it's really handy to have the Jenny. We have 2 lithium batteries now, 200 amp hour lithium batteries. A lot of debate about lithium, whether it's worth it or not. And we found the lithium has been great, but there is a proviso, and that is you need to get onto 240 volt power about every 2 weeks to charge them up. We found that the solar just doesn't get them to full capacity, and after 2 weeks being charged just with solar, they just simply don't get that full capacity, and you can drain them down very quickly. So every 2 weeks or so, if you can plug into shore power and leave it charged up overnight, and that way it cranks in 14.6 volts at about 25 amps, and it gets them to the full capacity. So that's how I found lithiums. They're great, they're much lighter, very expensive, but you can't rely on solar to charge them up all the way. We've got an outdoor shower, which I enjoy having an outdoor shower. We've used it a few times. So would I do it again? More than likely. No reason not to. It doesn't take up any room at the wheel off at the moment. So we carry 2 spare tyres. I would definitely carry 2 spare tyres again. We've had a significant number of tyre issues on our journey. We've had the valves fail in the tyres, so we've had to replace all the valves in the tyres. For some reason, the where the valve stem, the brass bit meets the rubber bit, the seals failed and the air leaks out, so I've had to replace those. We've had one tyre that's delaminated on the inside, so it looks like the wall ruptured on the inside, and we had to get rid of that and replace that. And what else? Oh, we've had 3 rims crack, which is under investigation at the moment. So having 2 spare wheels is a great peace of mind, without a doubt, and I would definitely go 2 spare wheels again. Just that I haven't got enough confidence in the rims and the tyres that we've been using on this van. I just don't think they're up to the task of serious off-road performance. This is a great little thing. Come and have a look at this, lease. So this is our Firewood Carrier. This was built by a mate of our youngest son's. He knocked this up for us, and firewood goes in there. It's fantastic. It's been really, really handy. When you're not carrying firewood, you can throw your wet shoes in there or your rubbish bags, all that sort of stuff, and it's been really versatile. So it's been great. It's where the other spare tyre lives. Rim's in being welded up at the moment, and the second jerry. So that's about it. That's a tour of the van, and when I get the four-wheel drive cleaned up a little bit, we'll do a bit of a walkthrough on that one as well, and show you the modifications we've made to the four-wheel drive.